Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 2. Another abysmal day in the Premier League for Manchester United. We've got so many issues at the club at the moment. Lack of firepower, going behind in games. We've got 5 talking points to get into. Are Man United in a relegation battle? 5 talking points to get into. I don't really want to do this, but let's do it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, guys, please do smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're going to start with number 1. Amram to blame. We've seen a very good performance midweek, albeit lesser opposition in the Europa League against FCSB. And we looked like we had a lot of balance within the team. And I think seeing maybe the change in tactics, the change in maybe personnel and how we were set up on Saturday on Sunday was quite disappointing, to be quite honest with you. Look, we do have to talk a little bit about Ruben Amram. Changes were made, and of course changes have to be made game on game depending on your opposition. There's only so much you can take, however, as a fan when you're seeing the same kind of lackluster performances week in, week out. And look, I am absolutely 100% behind this manager. I really, really am. And I've said it on multiple occasions, I don't want him to change his tactics. I don't want him to change his formation, because we need a reset on Manchester United. These players need to be held accountable, and this is why this manager was brought in, because of how he plays the game and how he sets up his team. However, I think there's an awful lot of naivety within this Manchester United side, and it is up to Ruben Amram to try and fix that. He's got, how long is he here now? He's here 3 months, is it? And have we seen an improvement? I think we've seen parts of games where we look like we know what we're doing. And that was no different on the weekend. For the first 20 minutes, I thought 25 minutes, we looked very, very assured and very, very dangerous on the ball. We created an awful lot, and we'll get into some of that in the moment. But it's up to Ruben Amram to get the best out of this team. He's not getting the best out of this team. He just isn't. And look, again, I'm not talking about getting rid of Ruben Amram. Absolutely not. I'm just kind of posing the question, what can we do to be more effective in getting results in games? Because we are not effective at getting results in the Premier League. It's just not working. These players are not good enough to play this system. Now, do you alter the system slightly? I don't think you get rid of the system completely, because, this is what he's here to do. And I do believe that sticking with what he wants and what he knows best in the long run will be beneficial to Manchester United when we've got maybe a summer transfer window under our belt, and you get players in that suit the system. Of course, we've made a couple of signings in the January transfer window, albeit young, maybe future players. I do think that players that are being brought in to suit his system. It's just very, very frustrating from a fan standpoint, and I absolutely, Ruben Amram is frustrated as well, and I'm sure the players are frustrated also. But it is highlighting massively the lack of ability within this team to play his system, and it's a concern. I think some of the changes maybe that we made, like obviously the big one is Kobbie Mainoo, and we've seen that, how well he played midweek in the number 10 role. He's then taken out the number 10 role, and I think that was the biggest, I suppose, criticism that's been laid at Amram. But again, it just goes to show the lack of maybe trust he's got in that forward line. But yeah, I do think there are certain aspects of yesterday's performance that have to be laid at the feet of the manager. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Number 2, fear. There's big fear in this Manchester United side. You can see it. You can absolutely 100% see it. And, obviously we spoke a little bit in the last point about Amram and maybe, what blame lays with him. However, I do think he's setting us up in certain ways to go and win games. And I think yesterday was quite evident. A lot of negativity yesterday after the game. But for the first 20-25 minutes, we destroyed Crystal Palace. We really did. We were very good on the ball. We had, over 70% of the possession. But not only did we have a lot of possession, we actually created an awful lot as well. And, when I go back and I'm talking about fear, I'm talking about when we don't take the lead early, this team, you can see it creeping into them. Oh no, we haven't scored with all of the chances we've created. What's going to happen now? What happens now and what happens the majority of the time is that the opposition team come back into the game and inevitably they start creating chances. And when they score, we know with this Manchester United side, when an opposition team scores, we don't turn it around. 9 times out of 10, you can see that lack of belief and the lack of real character within this team to not, just turn into shrinking violets. And it's quite clear that we seen that yesterday. We've seen an awful lot of chances being created, good chances. We had Kobbie Mainoo play in a false 9. He got a couple of chances yesterday. He hit the post. Garnacho looked dangerous on the left-hand side. Ahmad on the other side was getting heavily involved. And for the opening 20-25 minutes, we looked good. But, and you can see it in the crowd as well at Old Trafford, there's trepidation there. When these chances are falling to us and we're not putting them away, we know what happens. And it happened again yesterday. The heads drop, the crowd gets a little bit anxious, the players feel that within Old Trafford, and we allow the opposition to come back into the game, and subsequently they go on and score, and we don't overturn results. It's absolutely killing us. It really, really is, and I think it's a big, big concern. And Amram mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, that not taking our chances early in the game is costing us, and he also said then as well that we cannot be allowing the opposition to take the lead, because he knows as well, once the lead has been surrendered by this Manchester United side, we don't turn it over. It's a big, big concern, and we get into why in the next talking point. Number 3, lack of firepower. This is the most obvious assessment that any Manchester United fan can see and could make, and obviously we're talking about here as well, is the lack of firepower up front. Amram started yesterday with Kobbie Mainoo playing in a false 9, and I thought he done really well. I honestly did. I thought he done really well. I thought the shape was good. I thought him dropping back into the pocket, pulling centre halves with him, creating space in behind for Garnacho and Ahmad to run into, I thought was very good. I thought he was coming short and then getting in behind and creating some chances, Kobbie Mainoo, and of course he hit the post as well. And it just goes to show the lack of firepower that we have at the moment, when Ruben Amram is putting a player that was playing in a number 6 position 10 days ago, played in the number 10 midweek and played really well, and now finds himself playing in the false 9. It just goes to show the lack of real trust that Ruben Amram has in Højlund and Xerxes. They've scored 5 goals between them in the league this season, which is just not good enough. We are so desperate for a goal scorer, it's not even funny. And I was watching the Arsenal and City game yesterday, and I think it was it Jamie Carragher that mentioned in post-match that Man City have conceded more goals this season than Manchester United. And it just, bing, alarm bells straight away, because you're talking about a team that's up there in the top 4 quite comfortably in Man City, that could, with another few wins under their belt, between the start of the season now, could be challenging for the Premier League. And they've conceded more goals than us. Now, if they've conceded more goals than us, why are they where they are and we are where we are? It's because we are not scoring goals. It's so obvious. Defensively this season, we haven't been that terrible. We just cannot put the ball in the onion bag. It's absolutely abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. And look, I don't want to give too much too much negativity towards these two guys, because they're young guys. Højlund is still learning the game. Xerxes is still learning the game, albeit he's a bit older. But there can't be an excuse from Manchester United. We're going into the last day of this transfer window now today, as I'm recording it, without any links to any strikers, So if we finish the transfer window without signing anybody today, our forward line, attacking-wise, is going to be Alejandro Garnacho, Ahmad, Xerxes and Højlund. That's it. We are not going to improve this season with that forward line. We're just not. The goals are not going to be there for us to climb the table. And if we're talking about trying to get into the Champions League via the Europa League, what evidence are we showing at the moment about potentially going on and winning the Europa League when we can't score goals with that forward line? It's a huge concern, and I don't think it's going to be fixed between now and the end of the season. Now, in a way, when we're talking about the transfer window, I don't want to panic buy either, and if the right option is not available for this Manchester United side by Ineos, then you don't go out and panic buy. I completely understand that. And are they holding off now to maybe get a Gyökeres in the summer? I don't know, to be honest with you. But if we don't sign anyone today, the pressure in the summer is going to be absolutely massive to fill that void. It really is. But as it stands, we're in big, big trouble in the forward line. Number 4, wing backs. It's a concern. It's a big, big concern. And look, I know we've just signed Dorgu from Lecce this week, but is he going to be the answer? Is he going to turn around our fortunes this year? I don't think so. He's a young guy that's been in a relegation battle all season in Serie A. Is he going to come into this Manchester United side and absolutely revolutionise what we're doing? The answer is no. Now, he will be an improvement on what we've currently got. But, when we're currently looking at wing-backs, we're talking about Mazraoui and Delors here. And again, the stat remains, we have not scored a goal in open play in the league since Ruben Amorim joined, when both of them have played wing-backs together. And it's a major concern. We are not attacking enough when these guys are playing together. Now, Mazraoui has been absolutely outstanding this season. He really, really has. And we've seen him midweek going in and playing at right centre-back and playing really, really well. And, we're talking about the likes of Ahmad when he plays at wing-back as well. We do look like a more attacking threat because we've got an attacking player playing as a wing-back. And then also you're putting an extra attacker in the number 10 role. I think we look an awful lot better. Now, you do have to think defensively. What way would we be set up if these two weren't playing together? Because they are more defensive-minded players than they are attacking-minded players. Does that leave us open to counter-attacks? Well, that remains to be seen because we haven't really seen it in the league. We're still conceding goals when these guys are playing at wing-backs. So I don't see the, massive downside to sticking with somebody like Ahmad as a wing-back. Because Ahmad is still getting forward. He's still creating chances. You've just got him in an area of the pitch that when he plays there, you can put an extra attacker in one of the number 10 positions. It's something that needs to be looked at. It really, really does, because it's not working at the moment. The two wing-backs in Mazraoui and Delors playing together, it's just not working. Delors is having a bang average season from a player that was up there as our player of the season last year. And I know it's a new position and he's playing on the left rather than the right, but with Dorgu signing now, does he come straight into this team? I would be saying yes, because it can't get any worse with what we've got at left wing back at the moment in Delors. It really can't. At number 5, relegation. Is it realistic that Man United could get relegated? And yes, it is. It absolutely is. And, you're never too big to go down. Never. And when you look at the league table at the moment, Manchester United currently sitting in 13th in the league table on 29 points. Now, we're 12 points ahead of Leicester City in 18th. And I think the only real reason why Manchester United won't get relegated this season is because there are 3 worse teams than us. There is, and there will be 3 worse teams than us. I don't think realistically we are in a relegation battle. I genuinely don't think so. But we are showing relegation form. And we need to start picking up wins, because if you look at our next fixture, I'm not sure who it is actually. Who's our next fixture in the league? I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, West Ham and Spurs, okay, if they get a better result than us in the next Premier League game, we will find ourselves in 16th. I think 15th or 16th. You know what I mean? And then you're talking about, really, really, really being on the edge of, safety and comfortability. It's a big concern. If you don't pick up points, you will not rise up that table. And it's absolutely obvious, We spoke last week about, you know, I suppose the run of fixtures that we're going into. Obviously, it's FA Cup on the weekend. We've got Spurs next. If Spurs beat us in the Premier League, they jump above us. We've then got Everton, who are just below us as well. If they're to beat us, and they look an awful lot better under David Moyes than they did previously, you know, they'll probably jump ahead of us as well. We've got Ipswich Town, and then we go into Arsenal in the league. You know, Leicester City, who are down there with us also, and then Nottingham Forest. You know, can I see us going on a run in them games? No, I can't. And that's a big concern. You know, a massive, massive concern. We need to start picking up points. And we need to start picking them up quick. Because if we don't, we will be in a relegation battle. We really will. Let me know your thoughts on all of the points we made, guys, in the comment section below. Do smash a like on the video if you can. Do hit subscribe as well. If you're new to the channel, I do appreciate it. It's not easy at the moment. So, yeah, I do appreciate your support. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next one.